So when you think about leadership, what does a great leader look like? It's someone who's a good communicator. You think of the president when they communicate and address a situation and how they command respect and people's attention. And that's why it's important that you understand that communication is leadership. You need to communicate your mission, your vision to your team members so that everybody's rowing in the same direction. Now, that doesn't mean people pleasing, and you need to find a balance between being their boss, but also being open to hearing what they have to say and giving constructive feedback on the spot, and whether that be good feedback or in constructive feedback. Communication is not just the words that are coming out of your mouth, it's also your tone. Watch the body language. Watch your body language when you're having a conversation with someone. The best way to understand if they're listening or they even agree with what you're saying is by how they're standing. Are they looking at you? Are they turning away? Because that may mean that you need to change the way that you're speaking to them or addressing the situation. And communication is a two-way street. So as a leader, you need to be able to accept and listen to your team, and you also have the opportunity to give your feedback. And there are no bad ideas in a brainstorming session. And once you can grasp this concept, you can create a real great team culture where people are open to listening to your changes and they won't always be digging their feet because you always give them the whys. The whys are so necessary when you implement something new because most people always ask, well, what's in it for me? And when you're communicating with your team, it's the details that count. Showing gratitude and a mere thank you, it can really create a transformation in their attitude. Let me tell you about a story where I was bullied at work and it did not feel good. As an intern, I was learning. So naturally, I would make mistakes. And when I would make a mistake, he would patronize me and say, I already told you how to do that. Why are you making that mistake? And this type of leadership is not conducive to teamwork. It actually demoralizes your team, and nobody wants to work for an a-hole boss. Listen, he may have had some personal issues or he was close to retirement, whatever it may be that required him to act in this manner. So deep down inside, he was a nice person, but the way that he demanded respect was not respectable. So when you're a bad boss, you'll get less engagement from your team. They'll give poor customer service. And in the end, it's a lose-lose situation. And this is why you need to be the best leader that you can. Because as an entrepreneur, everyone looks up to you. So this is a big question that everybody asks. How do you become more likable, more approachable? It's not a secret. Don't wait for an invitation. Be the one to take this step because communication is leadership. If you find someone doing something good, praise them. If you find an area where they can get better, help them get better and make them see what they did wrong and let them learn and grow from that mistake because that is where you build trust. As leaders and as business owners, you don't want to show that you made a mistake, but actually by being vulnerable and showing them that you're human and that you make mistakes as well, it helps to build that trust with your team members and saying, you know what, I made this mistake, but here's what we're going to do to move forward and we're going to fix it. We had a big visit from one of the corporate bosses, and I was in my first week of being a pharmacy manager. I was super excited, but I hadn't looked at the numbers and saw how the pharmacy was doing. And when he approached me to ask me how the pharmacy business was doing, I didn't know. And I said, you know, it is my first week in the position and I'm not sure, but I will get back to you. He immediately went to my store manager and told her that I might not be the good fit for the position because I didn't know my numbers. And she stood up for me. And she told me, Rochelle, don't ever change your personality for anyone because we love you because you're open, you're fun, and you really make the team comfortable coming to you. And this really touched my soul because I was young and joyful and cheerful, and sometimes people can judge you that you don't look smart or you don't know what you're doing. But at the end of the day, I am human like everyone, and I was in my first week of business, but she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And as I matured and grew older, as people tell me that I'm very likable, I don't know what it is, but I think it really is because I'm humble, I'm kind, and I'm approachable. Recognize that there's always a lot to learn, and you want to be a lifelong learner. We are constantly learning and evolving. There are so many great books of successful people that you could pick up and read. And I always like to say, the smartest people learn from other people's mistakes. So things that we use to learn is be around a circle of people that have a growth mindset. Continue reading because the library is the most dangerous place. If you want to learn how to be a better communicator, a better leader, you can take an online course, listen to podcasts, read a book. Instead of listening to the radio on the drive to work, turn on that podcast that will lift and inspire you and fill you up with information. The day you stop learning is the day you start to die.